Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, all our Gursikh friends and all our friends from other faiths who are here. We have our friends from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, we have our friends from the local governments, we have our friends from the Waterloo Region Police Department, we have other community members who are here, who have signed up for this event. A warm welcome to all of you. We're so happy that you're here. दिल नू कहंदे कुछ होता है, दिल नू बड़ी खुशी हो रही है आप सब नू देख के ते सारे जिहड़ा अपना पहला Sikh Heritage Month event है at the Kitchener City Hall. In fact, the first event in Kitchener. We are so happy that this has come together. This has come together, as you know, in a very short 2-week period, so we're thankful for all of you signed up. I also want to thank our team here. We have Komal Kaur, Professor Komal Kaur from Constable College, her husband Harshdeep Singh, we have Jindal Singh, we have Amanpreet Singh, we have many Gursikh Sevadars who work towards the organization of the event. A warm welcome and a thank you to all of them. I am at this point going to ask our Honorable Bardish Kaur Chaggar, MP from Ottawa and from our region, and Harveer Singh Sidhu, Councillor, to come up and inaugurate this event as the first event.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sat Sri Akal Saਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ. My name is Bardish Kaur Chaggar. I am born and raised in this community at St. Mary's Hospital. And I'll tell you, when my grandfather came to this community, he did not always have a warm welcome. But the Sikh community, with the values we have, we strive. We are fighters, we are warriors, and we know with kindness and equity and inclusion, we will find a way forward. That's what our Babaji teaches us. And so this year, we're celebrating the 5th anniversary of Sikh Heritage Month. मैं कभी नहीं सोचा सीगा कि ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ City of Kitchener बैठे होंगे to celebrate Sikh Heritage Month. So I had never thought that we would be here together at City of Kitchener celebrating Sikh Heritage Month. So even though it was within the last 2 weeks that people came together to make it happen, I am so overwhelmed with joy and happiness that we are all here together. Because as a community, when we work together and we get along and we have tough conversations, we can make anything happen. And that includes electing a girl like me in the city of Waterloo. This riding of Waterloo has never had a woman elected, and I'm so proud to be the first woman to be elected in this riding of Waterloo, and I can't wait to see even more women be elected. And so thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to kick off the festivities today. ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਛੋਟਾ ਵੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ election ਜਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ. So we have Councillor Harveer Singh Sidhu with us, elected in the township of Wilmot. No one would have thought that that would be possible, but ਸਾਡਾ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ, ਸਾਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ, listening to what you need done to fight for us, whether it's in the cities or the townships. But as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says, in Canada, diversity is our strength. And you know who else recognizes diversity as our strength? Guru Nanak Singh Ji. So he also knew that diversity is our strength, and that's why, what do we do in the Gurdwaras? We keep our doors open. Take off your shoes, cover your head, and everyone is always welcome for a meal. We all sit the same way. We all are shoulder to shoulder, and it's a beautiful thing. So never forget our values, never forget why we're here. Congratulations to every single person involved, and I'm going to pass it on to my little brother from another mother, Councillor Sidhu.
How was that for an introduction, eh? Thank you, Bardish. It is my great honor to announce that today is the first Sikh Heritage Month event in Kitchener, Waterloo, in the region of Waterloo. I'm going to keep it short and sweet since I'll be back up here later to tell you a little bit more about my story. But it is my honor to announce that we'll let the festivities begin. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ji.
I'd like my partner at the slideshow to begin that in a moment. I want to thank Honorable Bardish Kaur Chaggar for her lovely words and for Harveer Singh Sidhu, Councillor Harveer Singh Sidhu, to inaugurate the event. Again, it is a blessing and it is lovely that all of us are here. We are so happy that all of you are part of this event. We have a short slideshow. Our theme of the event later on we'll talk about is equality in every faith. And part of that is showing the work, the equity and the inclusion work that has happened within the last 125 years Sikhs have been in Canada. You know, the first Sikh who arrived in Canada was 1987 from a Queen Victoria event in England, and he landed here. Later on, we have Sikh immigrants coming to Canada, pioneers who worked on the railroads to lumber mills in BC, and the events of, as we know, of immigration and so on. So it's a 6 minute slideshow. Please enjoy and pay attention because there's some cool stuff happening in here. Thank you. hopefully you enjoyed that presentation. It's been a work of love for a few weeks, and hopefully that gives us a good understanding of Sikh contributions in Canada over the last 125 years Sikhs have been here. I want to thank everyone for being here again today. We are going to start with the next part of our program. I'm going to invite Amrinder Singh, a musician from Brampton, Ontario, his tabla player, Arjandeep Singh. We're going to join us this morning for singing of a Sikh hymn in Raga Bilaval. So the Sikh scriptures are written, as you've seen, in Raga format. They're poetic format. The entire Sikh scripture is written that poetic format, and it is sung usually in our Gurdwara events. So we have two instruments here, and the third one, a rebab, is coming up. The tabla is a drum with a higher pitch on the right and then a bass on the left. The harmonium is an Indian instrument now, but it came from Europe, interestingly, so you talk about inclusion. And the rebab is actually an Afghani instrument, which Guru Nanak, the first Guru of the Sikhs, had as accompaniment through a Muslim saint named Mardana, who played the rebab throughout. So the initial singing of the Sikh scriptures happened on the rebab. And so we're having all these three instruments, traditional instruments here. I'm going to request, if you could, there's some head coverings on your tables. If you don't have a head covering, if you could, that'd be lovely. If you would like to do that. During our singing of our hymns, part of the respect of the Sikh faith is, in a lot of places in the eastern region, whether it's the Eastern religions, the covering of the head is a common part. I think even when we look at the Christian faith, women always covered their hair in the church. So there's that. I think this is cross-cultural, and so that request is made. We're going to enjoy this shabad. It's a morning raga called Bilaval, and the beat cycle is 16 beats, so a little bit of math there. I'm a math teacher at Eastwood Collegiate, so I wasn't putting my math in there. So, and in fact, a lot of us are musicians. We're all leaders in the sphere, so many of us sing, and this is major part of Sikh worship. So thank you very much for being part of that. We've got another 5 or 6 minutes of this as we enjoy that.
Sri Ek Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Sebhang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Hai bhi Sach Nanak Hosi bhi Sach Bisr gayi Sab taat Parai Bisr gayi Sab taat Parai Bisr gayi Sab taat Parai Jab te Sad Sangat Mohe Pai Jab te Sad Sangat Mohe Pai Bisr gayi Sab taat Parai Bisr gayi Sab taat Parai Jab te Sad Sangat Mohe Pai Jab te ਪਰਾਈ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੀਨੋ ਸੋ ਬਲ ਮਨਿਓ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੀਨੋ ਸੋ ਪਲ ਮਨਿਓ ਏ ਸੁਮਤ ਸਾਧੂ ਤੇ ਪਾਈ ਏ ਸੁਮਤ ਸਾਧੂ ਤੇ ਪਾਈ ਬਿਸਰ ਗਈ ਸਭ ਤਾਤ ਪਰਾਈ ਬਿਸਰ ਗਈ ਸਭ ਤਾਤ ਪਰਾਈ ਸਭ ਮੈਂ ਰਵ ਰਹਿਆ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਏਕੈ ਸਭ ਮੈਂ ਸਭ ਮੈਂ ਰਵ ਰਹਿਆ 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 ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੈ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਕੈ ਰਬ ਮੈਂ ਰਬ ਰਹਿਆ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਏਕੈ ਪੇਖ ਪੇਖ ਨਾਨਕ ਬੇਗ ਸਾਈ ਪੇਖ ਪੇਖ ਨਾਨਕ ਬੇਗ ਸਾਈ ਬਿਸਰ ਗਈ ਸਭ ਤਾਤ ਪਰਾਈ ਬਿਸਰ ਗਈ ਸਭ ਤਾਤ ਪਰਾਈ ਜਬ ਤੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਮੋਹਿ ਪਾਈ ਬਿਸਰ ਗਈ ਸਭ ਤਾਤ ਪਰਾਈ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਤ Thank you to our musicians and our band. We have Gurpal Singh, Amrinder Singh, and our Tabukjis. Thank you so much for your wonderful performance and wonderful kirtan and connecting us with that one. The meanings of this hymn were that I have forgotten the ill of others because I have the company of the saints. I have the company of the holy ones. And so my thinking of others, the gossiping and the backbiting, all of that stuff is gone. Because in everyone, there's that one Lord. Sab mein Rav reha prabh ek hai. There's only one in this entire creation. And so there's no hating, there's no hate, there's just love. So this is a beautiful hymn as we gather today. I'm going to ask at this next stage of our event, we have 4 lovely speakers who are here with us. We have a part of our event which is going to be speakers from different faiths speaking about different practices or practice of equality within their faiths. And so we have representing the Lutheran Christian Church, Jan Hansen. If you could come up to the stage. And Jan is a past principal from the Waterloo Region District School Board, and works now with Interfaith Grand River Community. For representing Islam, we have Burhan Ahmed. Please come and join us at the front at the panel. Burhan is part of the local Muslim community, and we're so fortunate to have him here with us. Representing Buddhism is Reverend Ananda Ji. He is at the Buddhist monastery here in this region and does wonderful work with interfaith work as well. So thank you so much for that. Please join us here. And representing Hinduism is Momita Maitra Ji, and we welcome Momita Ji on stage. We're going to request all of you to take about 4 minutes to share your stories and on the topic as we've discussed, and then we'll move through each part as we get the microphone set up here. I'd like to invite everyone with their presence today in this celebration. It's been wonderful. Those of you who just joined us, it's our first inaugural event for Sikh Heritage Month in Kitchener. Brampton is way far ahead of us, and I know people in Ottawa and other cities, BC for sure, but we're so happy that our young Gur Sikhs here who have settled in this region have taken this on themselves, and we are here at this stage to celebrate this, so thank you very much. I'm going to start with Jan Hansen. If you could do a quick synopsis of your talk on the topic of practice of equality and unity within their faith. Thank you.
First of all, I can't say that I speak on behalf of all Christians, because there is a good variety of understandings within Christianity of almost everything. And I can't even say that I speak on behalf of my faith group. But I do speak from my faith group and from my faith experience. And I only have 2 ideas to share with you. First is that love is freely given to us. And the second is that we've come to upset power structures. So I'm going to read from our holy book, the Bible. For there is no distinction, since all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. They are now justified by His grace as a gift. I didn't start my timer. So the idea behind that is, no matter what you do, you can't be good enough. Because we all mess up at some point. So God loves us and God gives us that gift without asking anything for it in return. There's nothing we have to do. So a big part of what's behind that then is nobody is better than anybody else. Nobody has done a better job and then is loved by God more. We are all the same. We are all loved the same. And so the challenge of our faith then isn't to do this and then this and then this. And there is no specific checklist of things we need to do. Our challenge is, what are you going to do to respond to all that love that you are given? How are you going to love? And the second reading, it comes actually from the reading that we used in church last Sunday. And that's where Jesus, who is the central figure in our faith, said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And it's a wonderful image of how God cares for us and how God looks out for us. But what's especially wonderful about this image is that he says he's a shepherd who looks after the sheep. And at the time Jesus spoke, a shepherd was very low status. They lived outside of the town. They were smelly. They had to work at night. Nobody really cared about the shepherds. And then Jesus, who is God, said, I am the shepherd. I am the person that nobody wants to be around. And it was a way of saying that you don't have to be important to be important. And the Bible is filled with stories like that, where Jesus takes somebody who is low status and says, this is the one you should be paying attention to. Let the children come to me because the children are important. Somebody is in trouble, and it's not the priest who stops to help him. It's the foreigner, the person that we don't really like to have around us, who stops, as in the story of the Good Samaritan. And we're filled with stories where Jesus comes and says, we need to turn the power structures on their head. The important people should not be the ones that we're listening to. We need to be seeking justice and caring for each other. So, my two ideas is that we are all the same in God's eyes, and we're invited to tear down power structures that support inequality. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan, for those wonderful words. I'm going to move over to the other side of the table now and invite Maitraji to speak on Hinduism performance.
Good morning, everyone.
Oops. Do a mic check.
Mic check. Yes, it's good. Good morning, everyone.
We can hear.
Is it better now? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. It's an immense pleasure for me to speak about my faith in this happy and prestigious occasion. My name is Maumita Maitra, and I'm Hindu. Hinduism and Hindutva is not just actually a religion. It's more of a way of life. And it's ancient, and it dates back to somewhat around 4,000 years past. There's no single particular founder we have, and there is no single holy book that we can follow. We have Gita, Vedas, Upanishad, Puran, and there is no single deity we have. We have multiple, perhaps millions. Since it evolved over time, we call it Sanatan Dharma. That means eternal faith. And we found the earliest evidence of this religion in the Indus Valley civilization. It is that old. The following are few of the core beliefs in this religion, and each of these instill the culture of equality in us. The first one is Brahma. Brahma is the supreme being, the ultimate reality, omnipresent, almighty. All living beings having a soul ultimately originate from Brahma, and once they pass away, they go back and reunite with Brahma. That way, all living beings are equal. The second one is karma. It's your action which determines your current and future, no matter where you come from or what you do. Ultimately, the karma is a general belief that good actions are rewarded and bad actions are punished by some form of cosmic or supernatural justice. Then we have moksha. That means every evolving soul, one day, once they receive moksha, they unite with Supreme Soul, and after that, there is no more rebirth. That is moksha. We have yoga, or we call it meditation also these days. It's an integral part of our practices. Yoga means nothing but uniting with the divine, which is nothing but a way of connecting your mind and body to gain the consciousness of your true existence. Well, we have many deities, but primarily we worship plants, animals, and Mother Earth. In terms of plants, I'll give you a couple of examples. We worship banyan tree. The reason behind that is banyan tree produces oxygen 24 hours a day. It helps mankind to survive. Then more often if you visit a Hindu household, very commonly you will observe a tulsi plant in their house. And that is because of its medicinal value that it brings in. We also worship cow as Go Mata, or rather a mother, because just like a mother, they provide us milk. We have different elements of earth like fire, water, air, which we worship. And this way, Hinduism mostly preaches that God is in and around us. It's not out of the world. Unity in diversity is the most unique feature in Hinduism, I believe at least. In spite of having millions of deities, scriptures, practices, rituals, we have certain unity within us. And it is so flexible that it accepts all the views and paths, and we ultimately believe every path reaches to the same ultimate truth as the destination. Hinduism has survived these many thousands of years only because of its compatibility and adaptability. Hindutva actually acknowledges and respects existence of all other religion and faith, and the following hymn is there in Sanskrit where we say, Ajishthaso, Akanishtaso, Ete, Samvavataro, Vahadahu Saubhagya, which means no one is superior, none inferior either. All are brothers marching towards prosperity. There is no specific rule you need to follow in order to become Hindu. No compulsion in form of visiting a temple, follow any specific ritual or any restriction or even any specific book. If you decide to be a Hindu, no approval is required from anyone or any institution. It's more of a practice of tolerance and universal acceptance. We call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the entire world is one family and we are all related to each other. And that way, we are all brothers and sisters to each other in this world. Thank you so much, guys.
We're going to move to our speaker representing Islam, Burhan Ahmed Ji. At this point, hopefully we can do a mic check. It's the second mic from this side. I'm sure you're giving our tech people a little bit of a hassle here. Can you check this? It's good? Awesome. Thank you so much.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Assalamu alaikum. May peace and blessing of God be upon you all. I recited some verses. In the beginning, I recited Shahada. Little bit explanation of this is that I bear witness there is none worthy of worship except Allah. So this is a main fundamental belief that one has to profess the unity of God for entering Islam. So unity means that God is unique, no one is his partner, and no one is partner in oneness of God. And then I recited first chapter of Holy Quran, which is called Fatiha. It describes 4 beautiful attributes. One first attribute is called Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Rabbul Alameen, the Lord of the whole universe, Rabb of the whole universe. It means that all these stellar objects, sun, galaxies, stars, everything is created by God. And Rabb means that the one being who provides for its existence, for its sustenance. Those things cannot exist without the sustenance provided by God. And then the next attribute is Rahman. Rahman means the one who provides us without asking for it. For example, when we are born, this earth is created for us. We didn't ask for this earth. We didn't ask for our parents. The sunlight comes to us. We didn't request the God to provide us sunlight. The water is here. Air is present here. So everything is here for our sustenance, for our existence. The next attribute is Rahim. Rahim means that when the person is in trouble, when he supplicates to Allah, when he supplicates to God, he put his problems in front of God, and God listens to his problem and accepts his prayers. That attribute is called Rahim. And then Malike Yawmiddin is the 4th attribute. It means that he is the only one who judges. No one of us become judge over other person. Only He is the one who will judges us after we will go through this world, and we will die, and He is the one who will judge us. So these are the 4 attributes I provided. So one of the main one of the main belief to entering Islam is the unity of God. And one of the famous incident that Bilal was a slave who accepted Islam in Mecca, and he was put into trials in the scorching heat of Mecca. He was put into the sand with a stone on his chest and asked him to revoke the unity of God. And all he was to reply is, Ahad, Ahad, Ahad. It means God is one, God is one, God is one. I will present few passages from the Holy Quran which tells about the equality of the humankind, and then I will Quran highlights the importance of human diversity, and I quote, O mankind, we have created you male and female and appointed you races and tribes that you may know one another. Surely the noblest among you in the sight of God is the most God-fearing of you. God is all-knowing, all-aware. Quran chapter 49, verse 13. Quran highlights the importance and necessity of racial diversity, and it is to be celebrated. Racism is indeed superficial because under our very thin layer of skin, we are made up of same meat, blood, and flesh. And after we end up in the dust, after all. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reiterated his message in his final sermon. In his final sermon before his death, he said, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. Arab has no superiority over non-Arab, nor an Arab has a superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black, nor a black has any superiority over a white, except by piety and good action. Do not, therefore, do injustice to yourselves. Remember, one day you will meet Allah and answer your deeds. So beware, do not stray from the path of righteousness after I am gone. So basically, the human DNA, scientifically speaking, 99.9% of human DNA is similar. All the fuss and fighting is over 0.01% of DNA, which is different. So mathematically speaking, we are all same. 99.9% is basically 100%. So God is one, and He created us one. He wants to be like us as brother and sisters. So basically, He wants us to be united in worshiping Him and take care of fellow human beings. And all these races and colors He gave us is basically to differentiate between us, that if every person dresses same, color is same, they eat the same, the life would be boring. But He gave us these beautiful colors and beautiful dresses and beautiful cultures to differentiate between each other. These are not way of inferiority or superiority, to claim inferiority or superiority. This is just to differentiate that you are from that region and you belong to that race. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Burhan Ahmadji, for that beautiful exposition of Islam. Our grand finale, it will be Anandaji from the Buddhist perspective. You get the mic check there. And I'd like to keep this short. So we have one more speaker, and then we have our speakers from our local region as well who are going to speak as well. Thank you.
Shashri Akat. So every time I come to the Sikh community, I feel quite home. And Guru Sahib and the wonderful team, we even had a Simran meditation at our Lake Monastery. So it's a very beautiful occasion. Thank you all. And I'm a Buddhist monk. I'm a resident monk at the Lake Monastery, Cambridge. And my name is Ananda. If you can't spell it, it's like Amanda, but with an N. How I know? Because I have an OHIP card saying Amanda. So, the tradition I belong to is called the Theravada tradition of Buddhism. And in fact, back in the day, 2,500 years ago, Buddha was born. And this month, Vaishak, this event is called Vaishak. It's a very special month for the Buddhist as well. That's when we celebrate the birth, enlightenment, and the death of Buddha next month. But it's next month in terms of Gregorian calendar, but back in the day it was lunar calendar. So we qualify because the last full moon was a few days ago. So this is the proper month of Vaishak. So it's very familiar to me as a Buddhist as well. Now, Buddha's time, there's this discussion that Buddha has in a place called Kutuhala Shala. Kutuhala Shala were rooms where the philosophers came and had discussions, an interfaith dialogue, a discourse, an interfaith dialogue. And in one of these discussions, Buddha comes across a person, an ascetic, who has a thing called a jata. A jata is a knot in Pali language. And I was thinking, jata is very similar to a turban. So he probably spoke to a turban-wearing ascetic. Maybe Sikhism was not there at that time, but still the turbans were there. So Jata Sutra it's called. Now I'm going to talk about three things. The equality, where we can take examples from Buddhism. Equality on women, children, and the caste system. Like Jan mentioned, all these philosophers, the Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, all the Upanishads, they were all very radical in their thinking. They wanted to abolish structures, especially the structures from the priests. So later on, the priests took up on the teachings of these wonderful philosophers, spiritual leaders, and they created structures. But originally, when you look at all these philosophers, they did not quite agree with the current way of things happening, especially the suppression or inequality which is being practiced. So I'm going to talk about this beautiful city in India back in the day, 2,500 years ago again, called the city of Vaishali, which is supposed to be one of the first democratic states in the world. Even before Athens had democracy, there was this city where they had a constitution, where there was a set of rulers, not a particular king compared to most of the autocratic leaders or the kings around that state. So in that city, I'm going to talk about this beautiful young girl, which is sort of a sad story. She was really beautiful, very gorgeous. So at the age 11, she was given the title that she was the most beautiful lady in that area. So in a way, like a Miss Ontario. So what happens is, back in the day, women were not very equally looked at, even until very recently. Universal suffrage wasn't the thing. So women always was treated as a second-class citizen, and Mata Kali opposed a lot for that on Hinduism. So this girl, her requirement was she is given the title as Miss Lichavi or Miss Vaishali, but she can't marry anyone. She can't marry to a single person. She has to be wife to all the men, which is really sort of cruel if you look at it. But then she also has the ability to choose which man she would want to be with, but she can't marry a single person. Now, this lady called Ambapali was a sort of a, if you look at it, lived a luxurious life, but there was a lot of things that she went through. So Ambapali then later on became a Buddhist nun, and she attained enlightenment. And there was a time that Buddha was invited to stay at Ambapali's house over a period of rainy season. So there's an observance called rainy season observance, where monks would go to a single place and stay in that place. So Buddha decided to go to Ambapali's house and stay over, even not regarding the request from the king of that state. So it shows that Buddha has been very tolerant even to some people who were not very tolerated in the society. And the second thing is, I'm going to talk about this other young boy who became an enlightened monk as well at the age of 7. So one day, this 7-year-old small monk, he goes and talks to a king, and the king accepts the logic, but he does not want to believe because the boy is so young. How could I listen to a young boy? So then later on that discussion goes to Buddha, and Buddha says, well, there are three things that you shouldn't disregard just because they are small or puny. The young monks with a lot of wisdom, a small spark of fire which can become a big fire if you neglect it, or a little cobra. Because regardless of they are big or small, the cobra has the same venom. So that's again a beautiful a place where we can see the inequality or the standing against the inequality based on the hegemonic values we have. And the final one was the one which put Buddha into most trouble. He said something like this, that back in the day, India, post-Vedic society, there was a caste system. Certain people were deemed to be at the highest class, the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Shudras, and Vaishyas and Shudras. So Shudras were the real untouchables, the marginalized people. So Buddha mentioned that no one becomes a Shudra or Brahma by birth. It's through your acts and your thinking. That is what makes you a higher caste or a lower caste, not based on your birth. So that's a beautiful practice which put Buddha into a lot of trouble. People did not like him. In fact, if you look at the end of Buddha, he was not even given water because he mentioned this against the society. So with all that, we see beautiful practices all throughout all the religious leaders that they have practiced. And my humble request is that let's learn from these qualities, but not use religion to oppress people, suppress people. With that, I will end. And I will say this, Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta, which means regardless of the caste, regardless of the shape, size, may all beings, may they be peaceful, may they be blissful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all four of you, for this wonderful redemption of faith and interfaith work that we have done today, even though it is Vaisakhi. I know Buddhists also have Vaisakha Day. Many other people celebrate Vaisakhi as a festival of harvest in India. This is the time when harvesting is done in spring. But it is beautiful also to see that we can come together and celebrate. And that is what this day is about, is celebration of Vaisakhi. So thank you so much again. Give it up for our team again. I'm going to invite our speakers to come back to their seats. Our next speaker is Rupinder Singh, who is a servant leader in the community. He works for the Sikh Initiative as well, doing lots of service. He's a musician, a kirtani. He's also a local graduate from the Master's of Business Administration program from Wilfrid Laurier University. So welcome back to the region. Thank you so much. Folks, give it up for Rupinder Singh.
Thank you, Gursev Singh Ji. And I would like to welcome everyone on this special occasion of Sikh Heritage Month. And I think this is celebration of diversity. It's just not Sikh Heritage Month. It's a celebration of diversity that we just saw. And also, many of us have observed Khalsa Creation Day 2 weeks ago. We also call it Vaisakhi. The creation of saint soldier in Sikh religion that happened in 1699. If we look at Vaisakhi in Indian subcontinent, it's the celebration, it's a harvest festival. The seeds are sowed in fall and the crops are harvested in springtime in Indian subcontinent. And taking the same metaphor, the seeds of Sikhism started in 1469 by our first master, Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Our first master spread the word of love, compassion, humility, politeness, and through his life, he traveled 20,000 kilometers by foot and spread this message all over Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, and Middle East. Our first Guru left the human body in 1539, and from 1469 till 1699 is about 230 years. The revolution of spreading love, compassion, equality, oneness, politeness stayed all along. And in 1699, one day our 10th master, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, he calls a congregation. 20,000 shows up in that congregation. The numbers vary from 20,000 to 50,000. We take a conservative number of 20,000 showed up and asked for 5 individuals who can make an ultimate sacrifice. And 5 individuals did rose. And the special ceremony was conducted. The baptism was bestowed upon these 5 individuals, and also the vow was taken from them, that the vow of truthfulness, compassion, contentment, humility, love, in essence, the vow of service, the vow of humility. You see, we always call Khalsa is a saint soldier. To have, you see, I said saint soldier. To be a soldier, you need to be a saint first. And those 5 qualities that drives the inner being or inner compass of a soldier are those very 5 things: truthfulness, compassion, contentment, humility, and love. So coming back to the day on 1699, 10th Master bestowed the baptism on these 5 individuals and taking the vow. And miracle just didn't stop there. Our 10th Master, Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, then bowed down in front of these 5 individuals and asked for the same nectar from them. Their ultimate, this never happened before in human history. A master was always a master and disciple was always a disciple. This was the first time a master sits in front of disciple and asks them to please allow me to join your community. So on this day in 1699, that was a day the master became disciple and disciple became master. And there was a common goal of keeping up the truthfulness, truthful life, compassionate life, loving life, and the life of service. And that revolution did not stop there. It has continued to this day. Even if you go to Sikh temple today in Kitchener-Waterloo area, anyone can walk in any time and the meal is served to them with a great humility and politeness. There are many Sikh institutions who are doing that kind of service to mankind. Khalsa Aid was one of them, an NGO organization. At the time of catastrophe and adversity, even before the governmental authorities show up, Khalsa Aid is there first to help support humanity. The message of oneness, bringing the message of equality, I think that is the life of Khalsa, the life of saint soldier. I said once again the word saint soldier. I want to repeat that. The Khalsa is the savior of love, savior of compassion, and internalizing those qualities is the strength of Khalsa. It is that strength that drives Khalsa to stand up for equality, stand up for injustice, stand up for love, stand up for compassion. One of the greetings that Khalsa says is Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Vaheguru means Almighty, and Fateh means victory. And in this word, in this phrase, it says, the Khalsa belongs to Almighty, and victory belongs to Almighty. And in terms, victory belongs to Khalsa. It's not an individual Khalsa we're talking about. We're talking about those values. It's a victory of those values. Victory of compassion, victory of politeness, victory of humility, victory of equality, victory of oneness. That's what Khalsa stands for. And thank you all for joining us today. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
It's always a pleasure to listen to Rupinder Singh. He is not only an orator but also a musician, and thank you so much. I come back to as our next segment is we're going to have our local leaders speak for a few minutes and give the greetings to the community. But Anandaji said a story about a woman who was realized. And that equality piece is what Baisakhi and that Amrit Sanchar, the baptism of the double-edged sword and the iron bowl is. It is the equality, saying that you can belong to, because in India there was this caste system. It was a social issue, political issue, where people were divided into 4 castes, and so the lowest caste could not attain. And Anandaji, in the Buddhist speaker, spoke about how you can belong to any caste. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji did the same thing. He says, there's no caste. In fact, everyone who came to take the Amrit or the baptism had to accept equality of all humankind and say that it doesn't matter what gender you are, what class you are, or how rich or poor you are, you have to accept that everyone's equal. And so what happened was people had to drink from the same bowl. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji gave the Amrit, everyone drank from the same bowl, and then it came back again. So a woman who's standing there had to drink everyone's drink from the same bowl, had to go back this way. If a Brahmin or a Hindu priest was standing, he or she could not say, well, I can't drink from the same bowl now because the Shudra drank. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji made equality on this Baisakhi day and said, if you want to join the Khalsa, you have to say I'm equal, we are equal, and accept that every human being is equal. If we don't show this in practice, you cannot belong to the Khalsa. And so the Khalsa is the pure. Pure, as Rupinder Singh pointed out, those virtues are important of humility. And I think we are so blessed to have such a great panel of speakers who spoke today. Rupinder Singh, we had our slideshow, we had our singing of the hymns from our panel, and now we have the honor of seeing and hearing from Mayor Abranovich, Mayor McCabe, Councillor Harveer Singh Sidhu, and also Deputy Chief Fenton from the Waterloo Region Police Services. So I'm going to invite, firstly, Mayor Abranovich to join us and say a few words. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It is indeed an honor to welcome all of you to Kitchener City Hall and to have this event here for the first time as we celebrate both Vaisakhi, which happened earlier this month, the importance of Sikhism in our community, celebrate the diversity of our community, and most importantly, celebrate the important role that people of our Indian community, and in particular of our Sikh community, play here in Kitchener and throughout Waterloo region. You know, in fact, when one reflects on the role and in the importance that the Sikh community played here, it goes back more than 100 years. In fact, it was 105 years ago that Private Buckham Singh, as many of you know, passed away and got buried here in the city of Kitchener after serving Canada in World War I. And that history has continued over many, many decades. In fact, reflecting the diversity of our community, the first person of color who was elected in this region was Councillor Paul Singh on Kitchener City Council back in 2010, and unfortunately he isn't able to be here this evening or this afternoon. But coming up in a few short weeks, In fact, another noteworthy member of our local community, or who grew up here, Jagdeep Singh Bakar, will become the next chancellor of the University of Waterloo, which I think is a tremendous reflection of the important role that your community has played in the broader diversity and history of Kitchener and Waterloo region. I think the other thing that's really important to note is that since 2013 in Ontario and since 2019 across Canada, April has become Sikh Heritage Month, and I think that really reflects on the important role that your community plays here in Kitchener and Waterloo region, across Ontario and across Canada, and the role that you play both in the social, economic, political, and cultural fabric of the country. So to everyone who is here and who is involved in the community, thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you for adding to the diversity that makes Kitchener-Waterloo region and our country the great place to live, work, and play. As someone who wasn't born in Canada and came here as a young boy, I often reflect on the importance of how welcoming Canada is and the opportunities it provides for all of us who have chosen to make Canada and Kitchener home. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. Kitchener Mayor Abranovich, it's been a number of years that he has been a friend of the Sikh community, working tirelessly to get private Buckhamston gravesite and that flag there ready for our November ceremony for the Sikh Remembrance Day every time. So thank you so much for those kind words. We have Mayor McCabe from the city of Waterloo next to speak to us.
Good afternoon, everyone, and it really is an honor and a pleasure to be here today on behalf of the City of Waterloo and our council. As I was introduced, I'm Mayor Dorothy McCabe, relatively new still on the political scene, having been elected only about a year and a half ago, but it is really wonderful, and I do want to congratulate the organizers of today's event. And it's wonderful to have this, the first Sikh Heritage celebration in our community, and I know pulling these things together takes a lot of work. So, you know, really to all of the organizers, thank you very much. It's so important to continue to recognize people who are joining our community, people who were born here, people of different cultures and faith groups, and to recognize all that they bring to our community, whether it's from the faith community, economic development opportunities, political, academic, education. It's important. I really enjoyed the opportunity to hear from our 4 different faith leaders, and I think it's a tremendous recognition by the organizers of Sikh Heritage Month to not only celebrate their own faith and their own history and their own contributions, but to be strong enough to say we have a lot in common with other faith groups. And I love the message both of the Sikh speakers and of our 4 other faith leaders about the oneness and about equality and about unity. And really, you know, as an elected official, you know, we think a lot about community belonging and well-being and what the needs of everyone in the community are. Not just the powerful and the important, but people who are lower economic, socioeconomic income. And that's critically important, and it's wonderful to hear that reflected throughout this morning's discussions and celebrations. And it really is at the core, I think, of what all of us are doing, right? We recognize each other as equals, we see each other as one, and wouldn't the world, and certainly so many of our lives, be so much better if we truly saw each other that way. So thank you for bringing that message to us so clearly today, and thank you again to the organizers and the leaders in the Sikh community, but in our other cultural communities, for reminding us of that critically important message. And just particularly from the Sikh community, I do want to say my daughters are huge fans of Lily Kerr. We have her books. We have her. They're always watching her YouTube channel. And as a basketball fan myself, you know, the super fan, I thought it was wonderful what he did to just introduce and bring people to from other cultures to the basketball community. So in big ways and small ways, you're adding so much to our community, and we really are grateful for it. So thank you so much, and have a great afternoon and rest of your celebration.
Next, I want to invite Councillor from Baden, our very own Harveer Singh Sidhu. We're so proud of him for his work in the political arena. He's a local graduate from one of our schools, from my school board, Waterloo Regional District School Board at WO, Waterloo, Oxford. And he's a boy from Tilsonburg, I hear. So, is that right? Close. Okay. All right. Welcome. And I want to invite Harveer Singh to say a few words.
Thank you for that introduction. I want to first and foremost start off by thanking Amandeep Singh and his team for putting together such a great event. I've been living in the region for over 30 years, and this is a long time coming. This is great to see. A little bit about myself. I was born in Toronto, and I moved to a small town of Tavistock when I was about 3 or 4 years old. Who in here knows where Tavistock is? No? Okay. I usually ask that question. I don't get much of a response, but Tavistock is a small town near Stratford, Ontario. That's where I started in preschool and all the way up until past high school. I grew up in a small, very white, very conservative town, and currently I live in the Wilmot Township in the town of Baden. Fast forward to now, I've been there for a long time, and there was a notion that, you know what, Baden and Wilmot is a very unaccepting, somewhat racist town. And I said, well, that's news to me. I've been living here all my life. And as Sikhs and as the Khalsa does, I said, you know what, I'm going to challenge the norm. I had a silly idea of maybe I should run for council. I had brought it up to a gentleman and I said, you know what, this is what I'm thinking about. And he said to me, I don't know, you got that turban and the beard. I don't know if it's a good idea. So I said, you know what, this is the Khalsa Sarup. This is how we're supposed to be sticking out in a crowd, so I'm going to go for it. I made sure I put my face on the signs, put my name forward, and decided to run. There was about, in my ward, there is 5,000 or so people. About 7 or 8 visible minorities on my voter list, so I figured, you know what, worst case, I'll get 5 or 7 votes, and we'll see how it goes. Turns out, it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter if you have a turban and a beard. It's all about being a good person. And that's what I found when I was going door to door. Fortunately enough, I had more than enough votes to win. And moral of the story, stay true to your Sikhi Sarup. And don't look at it as a hindrance. Look at it as you're going to stick out in a crowd and use that to your advantage. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
What a lovely story. Next, I'm going to invite our Deputy Chief from the Waterloo Region Police Services, Deputy Chief Fenton, to say a few words. I also, before Chief arrived, I was speaking to our other 2 constables here, Ashley and Rob, and we had a fun time talking. Rob's got a good sense of humor.
Well, good afternoon. So thrilled to be here this afternoon, as was stated, with 2 of our excellent officers who serve the City of Kitchener every single day. So on behalf of Chief Kroll, who sends his regrets, unfortunately, and the entire Waterloo Regional Police Service, we extend our sincere gratitude for extending the invitation to partake in this gathering commemorating Sikh Heritage Month. On behalf of our entire service, we deeply appreciate the opportunity to stand in solidarity with the Sikh community, honoring the rich cultural heritage and profound contributions that enrich our society. It is through events like these that we reaffirm our commitment to fostering understanding, unity, and mutual respect among all members of our diverse community. Once again, thank you for allowing us to take part in this meaningful celebration, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
I also want to recognize that the Waterloo Region Police Services has been coming to Sikh Remembrance Day for the past 15 years. We've been doing that. We had all the past chiefs show up, and also I think it was Inspector Goodman who used to come out as well. So thank you so much for the great work you do for the region. I'd like to recognize Harmail and Manjeet Bassi, if they're here, if they could stand up, for the great work they've done with the community for the past 30 years in serving. So we have Manjeet and Harmail Bassi. Thank you so much for all the great work you've done. They've been working with the local political arena and serving the community immensely. Thank you so much. We want to take a moment, just as we wrap up, we're going to have a standing prayer in a few minutes, but I do want to recognize everyone who's here. I'm going to invite Komal Kaur and Harsh Singh to come up here for a moment and help us with, we want to give a token of appreciation to our 4 speakers and to our So before we give out our gifts, we want Harmail Singh to say a few words to the audience as well. Thank you. Harmail Singh.
I just want to say, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. It's a pleasure being here, and it's wonderful to see the community come out, and our mayors and from the local region. So thank you very much for attending, and it's an honor to be here as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harmail Ji, for that presence here. I'm going to ask our organizers. Komal Kaur is a professor at Conestoga College. Aman, Tejinder, Gurpal Singh, Harshdeep Singh, and many, many others behind the scenes who work tirelessly today. They're here. We want them to help give out the tokens of appreciation to our guests and speakers as well. So I'm going to invite, who do you have there? So I'd like to invite Deputy Chief Fenton over to accept our token of gratitude for coming out today. Thank you. Mayor Dorothy McCabe. I'm a teacher, so I'm trying to help out all our servant leaders to take on this responsibility. Next we have, I'm going to request Mayor Vranovich to come up and accept our gratitude appreciation. Councillor Harveer Singh, please. Thank you. Just like our leaders, all of them are leaders, and there's tons of them around here who've been serving. they always defer back to me as their older Sikh, Uncle Ji, they call me, and they say, you do it. I'm like, no, you do it. And we're trying to get them to obviously, take on this role. They take on a very big role in the background. They are servant leaders in our community. And that is a big part that, as Rupinder Singh said, the humility part, that's so deep in our culture. They're always humble, giving our respects to the elderly. And so this is part of our culture. But thank you so much for all of you being part of it. Jan Hansen, please come over and accept our small token of appreciation. Next, we're going to ask Reverend Anandaji to come up as well. As I said earlier, Jan Hansen is a retired principal from our Waterloo Region School Board, and he works tirelessly with his church and also with the Interfaith Grand River. Reverend Anandaji. Ahmed Saab, I'm going to welcome you to come and accept our token of gratitude. And lastly, Maitriji, please come over and accept our token of appreciation. I do want to say a thank you to our team. If members of our team can come up to the front, that'd be great. If you can just come and line up here for a photograph quickly. I do. In the meantime, while you gather here, I'm going to ask Harmail Singh and Basiji to please come up and accept our token of appreciation for the great work they've done in the community. They are a great team. As you can see, women play a very big role in Sikhism. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, our first guru, who started this faith, said in the scriptures, he says, "Sokyo manda akhiya jijja me rajan." In the vein of equality, he said, "Why do you say women are any less than men when they give birth to kings and saints? How can women be any less?" And so this is very fundamental to our Sikh scripture, that women are equal, and that's therefore the whole Amrit Sanchar, the baptism ceremony of Sikhism is part of that, is women are equal to men. All people are equal. And you can see that work that has been done through the centuries is affecting us. And even Canada and the US, we are still working with that, with equality for women in all walks of life. So with this, I'd like to thank everyone. I know some of our servant leaders are very humble. They won't come up for the picture. But at the same time, I want to thank everyone. Jinniya Bibiyan ne, Bhainan ne, Singha ne, help karke, langar vich, hor tiyari ch help kita. Sab da bahut ਧੰਨਵਾਦ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਏ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਆਪ ਸਾਰੇ ਪੁੱਜੇ ਹੋ. ਤੇ ਇਹ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਜੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਮੰਥ ਦਾ ਇਵੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਹੈ. I hope that this event grows next year. We will have a 2-3 month leeway where we can tell you about the program so we can grow this further. And we want to include our wider community, not just the Sikh community, in this amazing event and the celebrations. With this, I'm going to ask everyone, we culminate our program at this point with a short standing prayer. And we will ask if you folks are able to, you can stand. If not, you're fine sitting. We will have Aman Ji come and Aman Singh come and do a quick short prayer. Thank you so much.
ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਇੱਕ ਓਂਕਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਏ ਵਾਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀ ਦਸਵੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਥਮ ਭਗਵਤੀ ਸਿਮਰ ਕੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਈ ਤੇ ਆਏ। ਫਿਰ ਅੰਗਦ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਰਾਮਦਾਸੈ ਹੋਈ ਸਹਾਏ। ਅਰਜਨ ਹਰ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਨਾ ਸਿਮਰਉ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਰਾਏ। ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਧਿਆਈਐ ਜਿਸ ਡਿਠੈ ਸਭ ਦੁਖ ਜਾਏ। ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸਿਮਰਿਆ ਘਰ ਨਾਉਨ ਦਿਆ ਵੈ ਧਾਏ ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਏ। ਦਸਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਭ ਥਾਈ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਏ। ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਹੇ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਨ ਤਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਨ ਓਟਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਓਟ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਕੋਟਾਨ ਕੋਟ ਸ਼ੁਕਰ ਹੈ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਮੰਥ ਦੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਇਕੱਤਰਤਾ ਕਰਵਾਈ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੋਈ ਇਕੱਤਰਤਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਮੂਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰਵਾਏ, ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਵਾਏ। ਹੋਈਆਂ ਭੁੱਲਾਂ ਲਈ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਖਿਮਾ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਖਿਮਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਿਓ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਸਮੂਹ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਆਰ ਮੁਹੱਬਤ ਇਤਫਾਕ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਪੰਥ ਦੀ ਸਮੂਹ ਲੋਕਾਈ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਪਲੀਜ਼ shower your blessings on our local community, this nation and all of humanity. May we resonate peace and love to every being. ਸਹੀ ਸੰਤ ਜਨ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮੇਲੋ ਜਿਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਚਿਤ ਆਵੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
We want to, folks, I'm just going to ask for your attention for a moment. We are so thankful to Aman for doing the final prayer. Our prayer ends with, Lord, please bless this entire universe, this whole world, so that every being is blessed, and in thy will there be peace on earth. So our prayer, every Sikh prayer every day, as you saw, this is a short prayer we do, ends with this terminology. This is part of what the Gurus gave us, is that we ask for the blessing of the entire creation, not just for Sikhs, not just for people of faith, but everyone from every belief system in this world and every creation. So thank you very much. I'd like to say a special thank you to Rupinder Singh for coming from Brampton all the way and making this such a great keynote speech. Again, thank you very much to all of you for this wonderful event, for making this event, because it is not us making this event, it's all of us together making this event. From each speaker who spoke here on the mic today, to each person who helped in creating this event, from all our leaders and all our servant leaders in the work they have done. So thank you very much again. I will ask you at this point to enjoy the next how much ever time you can spend. We have food that's going to be lined up in 2 sections. So you can form 2 lines, so you can go a little quicker to grab your plates and the wonderful, beautiful vegetarian Indian meal that's been created, Punjabi Sikh meal as well. And we want you to enjoy the social time. It wasn't just to be the event itself, but the social time in communicating with each other. Please come and engage with not only our police services, but also our non-Sikh members who are here, our leaders from all the regions and all the cities that are here. Please engage with them and communicate so that we can gather and understand each other better. So time to celebrate, my friends. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Namaskar and salam to everyone who's here. Thank you.